Top 5 Facts About Edgar Allan Poe, Part 2. Gambling Issue. Saying Edgar Allan Poe had a gambling issue would be an understatement. This continuous practice of playing for money became a problem for his foster father, John Allan. A little context: in 1826, Poe registered at the University of Virginia to study ancient and modern languages. However, his constant gambling became a problem. Edgar and John constantly fought over his gambling debts and the cost of Poe's education at the University of Virginia. Edgar often claimed that John wouldn't give him enough money for classes. However, when his father sent him money, Edgar would gamble it instead, consequentially increasing his debt. Fighting, drinking, and gambling were widespread occurrences at the university in Poe's day. He lost heavily at cards and left the university with over $2,000 in gambling debts. In a letter to anthologist Rufus Griswold, Edgar Allan Poe wrote that, while at the university, he, quote, led a very dissipated life, the college at that period being shamefully dissolute, unquote. The word tintinnabulation. Poe coined the word tintinnabulation. The word is used to describe the sound of bells ringing. He first used it in the poem The Bells. The part of the poem reads, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells, from the jingling and the tinkling of the bells. The dictionary defines the word tintinnabulation as the tinkling sound of the bells, a definition inspired by the unique word in his poem. Apparently, the coinage of his own is based on the Latin word for bell, which means tintinnabulum. The bells of which he wrote are thought to be those he heard from the Fordham University's bell tower, since Poe resided in the same neighborhood as that university. Another account for its inspirations might be granted to Mary Louise Shue, a woman who had helped to take care of Poe's wife Virginia as she lay dying. One day, as Shue was visiting Poe at his home in Fordham, Poe needed to write a poem, but with no inspiration. Shue allegedly heard ringing bells from afar and playfully suggested to start there. It is believed that he was paid mere $15 for his work, though it was not published until after his death in November 1849. Post-Mortem Writings. Joyce Carol Oates, an American writer and Pulitzer Prize finalist, completed a lost Poe story. When Edgar Allan Poe died, he left behind remains of an unpublished and unfinished short story. The story tells the tale of a lonely lighthouse keeper who has taken isolation in a seaside post in order to finish a book he has been writing. The man begins to question his physical and emotional well-being. Joyce, a modern purveyor of the Gothic genre, wrote her own version and published it in McSweeney's Enchanted Chamber of Astonishing Stories under the title The Fabled Lighthouse at Vina del Mar. Also, in the 1860s, a medium named Lizzie Doden published some poetry. She claimed that the poem was dictated by the ghost of Poe himself. Additionally, Sarah Helen Whitman, one of Poe's romantic interests, hired the medium in those same years, as she thought that Poe's spirit was trying to communicate with her too. Joining the army. After dropping out of university, Edgar Allan Poe had no money, no job skills, and was not in great terms with his foster family, so he decided to go to Boston, where he joined the US Army in 1827, perhaps even illegally. He enlisted with the fake name of Edgar A. Perry. He also claimed to be 22 years old when he was only 18. Poe did reasonably well in the army and even attained the rank of sergeant major. However, in 1829, the foster mother of Poe died. Then John Allan, his foster father, tried to be friendly towards Edgar. Hence, John signed Edgar's application to enter West Point, a USA military academy. While waiting to enter West Virginia, Edgar lived with his grandmother and his aunt. But finally, in 1830, Edgar entered the academy as a cadet. He didn't stay long though, because John Allan again refused to send him any money. It is thought that Edgar purposely broke the rules and ignored the duties so he would be dismissed. In 1839, Poe was court-martialed and dismissed after he stopped going to class. But that didn't stop Poe from trying to pursue a military career. After leaving West Point, he asked the school superintendent for a letter of recommendation so he could join the Polish army, but there's no evidence he ever got a reply. Cat lover. He was a cat lover, and he and his wife Virginia had a cat of their own named Katerina. The cat often sat on his shoulder as Edgar wrote his stories. Contrary to the popular depiction of a man having his eye taken out by a feline in Poe's story The Black Cat, Edgar Allan Poe was really obsessed with cats in a good way. Poe's story The Black Cat tells the story of a drunk man and a vengeful cat. But despite his tale about the murdered black feline and its doppelganger's revenge, Poe loved cats and they seemingly loved him. Katerina, for example, went into a depression whenever Poe traveled, and unfortunately, the cat died just mere 2 weeks after Poe's passing. In fiction, Edgar Allan Poe used cats as a symbol of the sinister in several of his stories. However, he himself loved them. Another fun fact is that fellow writer Mark Twain was also a cat lover. So those were 5 facts you may not know about the master of the macabre, Edgar Allan Poe. Please give the video a like or subscribe if you haven't to the channel. And if you're enjoying the content of the channel so far and want to help me with this project, please consider checking out the channel's Patreon site. Here, you can show your support and receive cool rewards in the process. Also, if you're interested in UFOs, paranormal cases, conspiracy theories, or anything weird or creepy, you can check out my other channel called The Creepy Leisure, where I try to cover all this stuff. So goodbye and see you on the next video.